They say history is written by victors. But what happens when the victors lose their vision? Therefore, we've heard the hunter story long enough. Now, the lion will tell his tale. I believe, like myself, other Africans have asked, even if in silence, what if the dream had survived? What if Ghana had split the atom before apartheid could split Africa? What if we had built our own car factories before Toyota became a powerhouse? What if one man, one Ghanaian, had built not a country, but a continent, the United Republic of Africa? They called it correction, but what they corrected was a future too powerful to control. Because on February 24, 1966, the darkest clouds of Ghana's destiny gathered without warning. Rolling in swift, wearing betrayal in silence, while Kwame Nkrumah stood beneath a foreign sky in Hanoi, speaking of peace to a world busy with war. The thunder he feared the most rolled not from the east or the west, but from his own beloved homeland. Back home, soldiers marched through the streets of Accra. And with every footstep, a promise was crumbled. A promise of greater things. Minds unchained, of futures unafraid. Hope itself seemed to new that day. The dream that once danced in our dawn was dragged through the dust by men who mistook power for progress. A dream not born of greed nor glory, but of belief that a black nation could rise, and in rising, lift a continent. What a shame. What a holy shame. To see the light that once kissed the eyes of school children dim into the gray silence of uncertainty. To watch factories that once sung with hum of hope fall mute, like drums after a funeral. Ghana, the touch of Africa. The gold child who taught the world the rhythm of freedom was suddenly orphaned by her own. She fell into numbness. Her people wondered, not blind, but bewildered. Her voice trembled, not because it was weak, but because it remembered what it had once sounded like when it was strong. And the very air seemed to forget how to breathe. He said, "We face neither east nor west. We face forward." But forward frightened the world. The West feared his socialism. The East envied his charisma. And together, they did what the world always does when a black mind begins to dream too loud. They turn vision into villainy. But the cruelest betrayal didn't come from foreign hands. It wears familiar uniforms. It smiles and speaks your language. It salutes before it strikes. And somewhere far away, I imagine Nkrumah alone in a dim hotel room in Beijing. His hands trembled over a telegram. It can't be, he must have said under his breath. He could hear it. The stuttering song of steel. The teleprinter clattering out its message line by line. Each click spelling sorrow. Each pause holding his breath before the next blow. The message still fresh with betrayal, as if the machine itself felt shame for delivering it. He must have sat there in silence, the kind that screams inside your bones. A man who had built cities from sand and pride from poverty, now watching his life's work unravel like a thread from an old kente cloth. He must have wept, not tears of defeat, but the quiet tears of a father who sees his children set fire to their own inheritance. Accra Accra trembled that night, the air thick with fear, the streets alive with confusion. Posters of Asajaf were torn, fluttering like fallen flags. In a silence that day was not empty, it was heavy. It carried the weight of a continent holding its breath. Nkrumah's Ghana was only 9 years old, a child that had learned to walk and run faster than its teacher expected. He built universities, factories, dams, and a city called Tema, not a relic of an empire, but the vision of the future. He told his people, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. So they labeled him dangerous, not because of weapons, but because he made the black people believe. And believe, my brother, my sister, is the one thing you cannot colonize. Therefore, they did the next best thing. They isolated it. They made his name a taboo. They called his dream impossible. They scattered his builders, jailed his believers, and burned his blueprints. But here's the thing about blueprints. They outlive architects. Every torn page of his plan became a highly sought-after seed. My name is Gyete, Papa Gyete, with over 1,000 hours experience in virtual and live tours of Africa's history and culture. I'm here to share what textbooks never could. Welcome to the Culture Hub, where Q stands for quintessential. The past cannot be returned to, but history grants us one mercy. Therefore, even in the ashes of that February, one question flickers, refusing to die. What if Ghana had kept believing? What if Africa had been allowed to finish a sentence? What if the coup failed, or better yet, had never been conceived? And February 24th, 1966 slipped by quietly as another day in the life of a 9-year-old Ghana, dressed in hope, waiting by the window for her father's return. Therefore, in his return, in this new Ghana, the Boafo automobile is not just a car. It's a declaration. Boafo, the helper, named for the spirit of affordable service, for the belief that progress should carry people, not leave them behind. By 1970, the assembly lines at Tema and Takoradi sang with life. The Boafo is not merely built, it is crafted. Welders, painters, and designers work joyously side by side, producing something that doesn't just transport people, it moves pride. Each Boafo carries the soul of Ghana in its design. The dashboard gleams with odum, mahogany, ebony, woods once reserved for royal stools and ancestral drums. Seats of Ghanaian leather, stitched with Kente accents, and polished gold trims glit in the sunlight, not as a symbol of vanity, but of value. Even the steering wheel bears the black star, cast in onyx and ringed with gold. Telling every driver, guide your journey with purpose, and remember who you are. And for the first time, a nation has a car line that speaks its own language. The Boafo Jinyami series, signature line built for grace and endurance. The Boafo Ebusia series, where family meets motion and every road becomes reunion. Made for every family, everywhere. The Boafo Sankofa series, sleek, intelligent, forward-thinking, yet rooted in heritage. Boafo Found series, bold, unrestrained, made for freedom of motion and mind. Every series carries a spirit. Every emblem tells an Adinkra truth. But all share one crown, the Black Star, forged in polished obsidian and framed in gold, mounted proudly on the hood like a guardian. It is not just a logo, it's lineage. A symbol that rose on Ghana's flag and now rises again on her highways. When the sunlight catches the Black Star, it doesn't just glint, it glows. Like a reminder to every driver, every onlooker, this is Africa in motion. This is destiny with an engine. The Boafo engines don't just roar, they sing. A chorus of faith, craftsmanship, and power, echoing through every turn of their bronze gold trims. The highways of Africa hums with possibility. Accra to Abidjan, Lagos to Lomé, Cairo to Cape Town, and beyond Africa's borders. The Boafo is highly sought after abroad. Built in Ghana for Africa and driven by the world. If you're enjoying the Qulture Hub, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, the bell notification, and share with someone who needs this. I promise to make this journey worth it. And remember, you are royalty, so keep it cultured. Again I say, the Boafo is not just transport, it's a covenant, sealed in steel, spirit, and star fire.